The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for this day.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
This content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion advised.
He grabbed me by the belt loops of my jeans and yanked, pulling me towards the bathroom. My stomach dropped to the floor. I wriggled and pulled as hard as I could, trying to break his grip.
Get out of the car. But she didn't move. No, I need you to drive me. There are guys over there. They're creeping me out.
She stared for a moment with this unreadable, creepy expression, then darted deeper into the darkness.
From Killer Podcasts, true tales of horror, bizarre happenings, unexplainable events. This is Disturbed. Hello, and welcome back to the show. This week we have 4 stories that will alarm and unnerve. We'll start off with a first date that quickly turned into a nightmare. Narrated by Christine LaChance from Reddit user Kathleen Kellig.
This happened back in 2018. I was newly single after a 4-year-long relationship and going through a really bad breakup. It was so bad and mentally traumatizing for me that I decided to go to therapy. It was truly one of the darkest points in my life. Anyways, one morning I was sitting in the waiting room, waiting to go back and see my doctor. I was just sitting there, minding my own business on my phone, mindlessly scrolling, when this man came up to me. "Excuse me," said the man, who I'll just call Jack. "I just wanted to say you're really beautiful, and I was wondering if I could get your Snapchat." Embarrassingly, on my part, this was the first time a man ever came up to me and did something like this, so I wasn't used to it at all. I remember looking up at him and thinking that he normally wasn't my type, but I thought giving him my Snapchat wouldn't hurt. And he did have a nice smile. So I thought, why not? "Sure, and thank you," I replied to him with an almost shy smile. "What's your name?" "Jack," he said. "I'm just here waiting on my niece. I drove her here." "Oh, okay," I said as I heard my name being called. "Well, I gotta go, but I'll message you on Snapchat when I get out." "I'd like that. Talk to you soon." About an hour later, I left my appointment and got back in my car to go home. Before I even left the place, I decided to open up Snapchat and text him. I'm not going to lie. It really made me feel good that a man for the first time came up to me and wanted to talk to me. I always had a low self-esteem, and after the breakup with my ex, it got even worse. I felt really excited, more excited than I had felt in months. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the details of our conversations, but we talked for about a week over Snapchat, and everything was going well. He was very kind and respectful, never asked for certain pictures, if you get what I mean, and the conversations never went beyond a friendly chat getting to know each other. He showed 0 red flags. I remember it was a Saturday, and we finally decided to hang out in person. We decided on meeting at a local park. It was always fairly crowded with a lot of people there, so I didn't think it was a bad spot, and I felt like it would be safe. When I arrived at the park, I saw him already there waiting on me, sitting at one of the picnic tables. I got out of my car and waved at him, and he smiled. He looked really happy to see me. I felt all the butterflies. It was nice. "Hi, I'm glad you got here safe," he said with open arms, wanting to give me a hug. "Thanks," I said as I hugged him back. He was tall and muscular, and it was even more evident when we embraced. We ended up walking around the park and talked for about 20 to 30 minutes. We eventually made our way to where the bathrooms are. This is where things took a turn. I remember we were talking, I can't remember what about, but in the middle of my sentence, he all of a sudden grabbed my hand and pulled me up against him. It really caught me off guard. I asked him what he was doing, and he turned his head toward the bathroom. "Let's go in there," he said to me. His voice sounded different. He didn't sound like that nice man that I was talking to just a few minutes ago. His whole demeanor seemed to change in the blink of an eye. "I'm not that kind of girl. Let's just stay out here," I said, not trying to sound scared. "Aw, come on, beautiful," he said, right before forcibly pulling me closer to him. I pushed him off me and again firmly told him stop, but he wasn't listening. He grabbed me by the belt loops of my jeans and yanked, pulling me towards the bathroom. My stomach dropped to the floor. I wriggled and pulled as hard as I could, trying to break his grip. But he was so strong. I was screaming at him to let me go. We were getting closer and closer to the bathroom when suddenly, it worked. I slipped out of his hold and immediately sprinted towards my car. He didn't chase after me. I sped off and stopped at a gas station on the way home to block him on Snapchat. I remember seeing that he sent me a message after I ran away from our date, but I didn't open it. In hindsight, I don't think I escaped. I think he let me go. There were some other people around and I was making a scene. He must have been afraid that someone would come intervene. I don't know what the whole point of the story is. I guess it's to say to please be more careful than I was. He seemed so normal and kind and polite, and he switched in an instant. It took me a long time to date again after that because I was afraid every man would try to do what he did. Thankfully, about 4 months later, I ended up meeting my now fiancé, and we've been together for over 7 years now. I know things will always work out for the better, but in the meantime, ladies, please be careful and stay safe.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. As kids get older, some parts of parenting get easier. Like you can finally have a real conversation, they can grab their own snacks, and they might even clean up after themselves, on a good day. But some things never get easier, like teaching them about money. The truth is, kids won't truly learn to manage money until they get hands-on experience, and that's where Greenlight comes in. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families. Parents can send money to their kids and keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens build money confidence and lifelong financial literacy skills. With the Greenlight app, kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely thanks to games that teach money skills in a fun, accessible way. The Greenlight app also includes a chores feature, where you can set up one-time or recurring chores customized to your family's needs and reward kids with allowance for a job well done. It's the kind of thing I wish I had when I was younger. It would have motivated me so much more and saved my parents from having to nag me. Millions of parents and kids are learning about money on Greenlight. It's the easy, convenient way for parents to raise financially smart kids and families to navigate life together. I started teaching my eldest son about finances with Greenlight a few months back. It's been so great I just started an account for my youngest son as well. Now they're able to learn and save together, and they love it. I just wish I had started sooner. Greenlight is the easy, convenient way for parents to raise financially smart kids and families to navigate life together. Maybe that's why millions of parents trust and kids love learning about money on Greenlight, the #1 family finance and safety app. Don't wait to teach your kids real-world money skills. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/disturbed. That's greenlight.com/disturbed to get started. greenlight.com/disturbed. I want to talk to you about your home security for a minute. I used to think home security was just an alarm that goes off after a break-in, scaring the intruder off and getting a neighbor's attention if you're lucky. But that's a reactive approach. By the time the intruder is in your home, it's too late. Your feeling of safety is shattered. Real security should stop a crime before it even starts. That's why I trust Simply Safe. Their system is designed to be proactive, not reactive. They use smart AI-powered cameras to identify threats lurking outside your home and immediately alert Simply Safe's professional monitoring agents. These agents intervene in real time before the break-in even begins. They access two-way audio to confront the person, trigger sirens and spotlights to scare them off, and request rapid police dispatch when needed, all helping to stop the intruder while they're still outside. That is real security. Join the more than 4 million Americans who trust Simply Safe with their home security every day, including me. And with a 60-day money-back guarantee and no long-term contracts, Simply Safe earns your business by keeping you safe and satisfied every day. Visit simplysafe.com/disturbed to claim 50% off a new system. That's simplysafe.com/disturbed. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Welcome back to Disturbed. Next, a hiker finds himself trapped deep in the woods, alone with someone sinister. Narrated by Akiem Bailum, from Reddit user NoIndependent9487.
This week, I'm visiting my grandma and staying with her for a few days. She lives in a small town with just a couple hundred people in it, so one of the main things to do is hike. We usually hike together, but because of the hot weather this morning, she wanted to stay home. I set off on a small trail through the woods. After an hour and a half, I spotted a man about 200 feet down the path. This wasn't a popular trail, so it was a bit surprising that someone else was there, especially since it was so warm. As he approached, I noticed he was staring at me. I awkwardly broke and re-entered eye contact a few times, but his gaze didn't falter. When he passed, he had a strange grin on his face. I could see his bad teeth, and he was walking in a way that really unsettled me. I decided to try to be polite and break the silence, so I said hi. He didn't respond, but I heard a very quiet mumbling after we passed each other. I'm used to passing by people while hiking all the time in this area. This guy was different somehow. Even when he was behind me, I could still feel him staring. I glanced over my shoulder to check, and I was right. He wasn't even walking. He was just standing there, watching. He was really freaking me out, but I knew the best thing to do was just walk away. I continued down the trail for about 20 minutes until I ran into a dead end. I must have taken a wrong turn, and now I had to go back towards the direction of the creepy stranger. I was kinda terrified, and I couldn't help but think that no one would ever find me this deep in the woods. I did my best to push those thoughts out of my mind. There was nowhere else to go but backwards, and I thought the chances of running into him again were slim. That was wishful thinking. I walked for about 40 more minutes until I saw someone ahead sitting on a bench. It was him. It felt like I was in a goddamn horror movie. Thoughts rushed through my head. Did he wait for me? Did he know about the dead end and that I would have to head back? I was panicking, but I tried to keep my cool. The bench was placed in a way that he couldn't see me yet, but he would have a perfect view of me when I walked by. As I came closer, my heart began to beat in a way it hadn't in years, like I had just crossed the finish line at a marathon. I was freaking out. Then, he noticed me and began looking over his shoulder with that same hair-raising grin from earlier. I had goosebumps. When I walked past, he kept his stare and grin like he was a statue that could move its neck. He was just so creepy, and I had this fear that he would suddenly get up and chase me. I couldn't take it any longer. I started jogging down the path and quickly sped up into a sprint. Soon enough, I was running as fast as I could until he disappeared in the trees behind me. Even after I got home, I couldn't get all this out of my head. It really startled me. There was something not right with him. I could just sense it. I have never felt this way about anyone I've ever met. I might have been really lucky today.
When a stranger was having car troubles, he was happy to help, but he slowly realizes something is deeply wrong. Narrated by Oscar Bazan from Reddit user Choose101.
Let's rewind. Back to when I was 19 and still living in the town that I grew up in. It wasn't the worst place in the world, but it had its share of problems. Good neighborhoods, sure, but some rougher parts too. At the time, the local Walmart hadn't quite slipped into the sketchy category yet, but it was getting close. You could feel it, even if you couldn't explain it. It was a typical summer night, humid, quiet, probably around 11 p.m. Walmart was still open 24 hours back then. My buddy, we'll call him Jay, and I were sitting in my car in the middle of the lot, surrounded by other parked cars, just hanging out, listening to The Human Condition by John Bellion, talking about life. That's when I noticed her, A woman, mid-40s maybe, walking slowly toward the car. Nothing alarming at first. I assumed she was heading to her own vehicle, but she wasn't. She stopped right at my passenger window, leaned down, and tapped.
"Please help me,"
she said, her voice shaky.
"I need your help."
I cracked my window just enough to hear her over the music. Jay leaned in. "What?" he asked. "My car. It broke down," she said. "It's over there. I need help." We looked where she pointed, around the dark side of the building, near the edge of the lot, barely lit, shadows swallowing everything. I could see the vehicle she was talking about. A van. You know the exact van I'm talking about. Windowless, white, rusted, with the side doors. Everything the stranger danger PSAs always told you to avoid. Still, we were 19. Slightly into cars. Definitely into the idea of being helpful. "Where exactly is your car?" I asked again cautiously. She gestured again. "Just over there. Please." I hesitated. "Okay. You start walking over. We'll follow you in the car." I went to lock the doors, just in case. But she moved faster. In one fluid motion, she yanked back the door handle and pulled it open. "No!" she said, climbing into the back seat. "Drive over." Jay and I froze. Can you get out of the car?" I asked. Jay added more firmly, "Get out of the car." She gestured again. "Just over there, please." But she didn't move. "No, I need you to drive me. There are guys over there. They're creeping me out. Just drive me to the van. Please. I need you to drive me there now. Please." Her voice was urgent, but something about it was off. Too desperate, too rehearsed. I slid my hand down beside the seat where I kept a small breaker bar. My heart was pounding. "I'm gonna ask you one more time," I said, my voice low. "Get out of the car." And then she snapped. "I'm not getting out of this fucking car. You said you'd help me. I need you to drive me to the car, please. You promised. Drive me over there. Now." I looked at Jay. His face was pale. I knew she wasn't leaving without a scene, or worse. So I did the only thing I could think of. I put the car in reverse and drove straight to the front entrance of the Walmart. People were still going in and out. Bright lights, cameras, safety. She leaned forward. "This isn't where I told you to go. Drive to my van. Drive to the van." That slip. Our van? That's when I was done. I threw the car in park, grabbed the breaker bar, jumped out of the car and screamed, "Get the fuck out of the car now!" She flinched, looked around. Dozens of eyes were suddenly on us. Without another word, she bolted. Ran toward the van. The side door slid open before she got there. She jumped in. The van peeled out of the lot like a bat out of hell. To this day, I don't know what her endgame was, but I know it wasn't good. I was lucky. We were lucky. And now, I conceal carry. I never want to be that unprepared again.
Cooler temps are rolling in, and as always, Quince is where I'm turning for fall staples that actually last. From cashmere to denim to boots, the quality holds up and the price still blows me away. Quince has the kind of fall staples you'll wear non-stop, like super soft 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters starting at just $60, their durable denim that fits right, and their real leather jackets bring that clean, classic edge without the elevated price tag. What makes Quince different is that they partner directly with ethical factories and skip the middlemen, so you get top-tier fabrics and craftsmanship at half the price of similar brands. This summer, I've been rocking their mesh performance tees, which have been great at keeping me cool with their breathable fabric. My wife also needed to replace her worn-out suitcase recently, And she loves her new TSA-approved carry-on from Quince. Keep it classic and cool this fall with long-lasting staples from Quince. Go to quince.com/disturbed for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/disturbed. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/disturbed.
Switch to Shiseido Benefiance Wrinkle Smoothing Eye Cream and discover why people are calling it the best eye cream. A powerhouse formula that targets 5 types of eye area wrinkles. 96% of users saw reduced wrinkles and diminished dark circles after just 7 days. Shop Shiseido Benefiance Wrinkle Smoothing Eye Cream at Sephora and discover how change can happen in the blink of an eye. Consumer tested by 110 women.
Welcome back to the show. Finally, a mysterious car trailed 2 girls home, and they had no idea what they'd be up against. Narrated by Lizz Kellermann from Reddit user Majestic Band 6913.
My friend and I biked home late last night. At around 3 a.m., we were on a dimly lit street that was lined with single-family homes on one side and a forest on the other. As we biked, we spotted a parked red car far down the street. Even with only one working headlight, it flooded the otherwise dingy street with illumination. We watched it drive out of its spot and down the street, slowly passing us. Then, it turned around. It approached again, this time from behind, and crept past us. It was clear we were alone, so we obviously didn't feel safe. We biked onto the sidewalk and picked up our pace as the faint, ominous hum of a motor circled the block. Then, something else caught our attention. A girl down the street was hiding behind a white truck, watching that same red car, and it was creeping towards her. She sensed the danger and made a break for it, running up the sidewalk and turning into a bike path that led through the forest. Immediately, 2 men got out of the car and followed her in. We couldn't let anything happen to this girl, so we headed for the path as well. We passed the parked red car and got a glimpse of the driver through the window. He looked right at us, stone-faced, and drove off. Something was really wrong. We hopped off our bikes and headed down the pitch-black trail. The forest was silent, except for the sound of slow, deliberate footsteps ahead of us. It had to be those strange men, but we couldn't see anything. We kept walking until my friend finally spotted the girl ahead of us. She shined her flashlight and called out, "Hey, are you okay?" The girl looked over her shoulder towards us. She stared for a moment with this unreadable, creepy expression, then darted deeper into the darkness. Alarm bells started ringing in our heads. Something was really off. I gave my friend a look that said, "We need to get the fuck out of here," and she nodded. We turned and sprinted back the way we came, screaming as we ran. We called the police as soon as we got back into the street, and within minutes, 3 police cars arrived. They asked questions, and 1 cop car drove down the forest path. About 5 minutes later, they returned and showed us a photo of the girl. The cops said they found her with 1 man, which made no sense because less than 10 minutes earlier, we'd seen her completely alone and running away. They also said neither of them would identify themselves or explain why they were there. They brushed us off, saying we could go home now. As we walked away, we saw 3 people get into a police car, which made it even weirder because earlier they said there was only 1 guy with her. So was there really someone following us in the woods? I keep thinking, what if this was trafficking bait? Maybe the only reason they didn't go after us was because we started screaming. Either way, I can't stop replaying it in my head.
Want more Disturbed? Check out our Patreon for member-exclusive content, early merch access, and other cool perks. I'm your host, Doug Bailey, and this has been Disturbed, a production of Killer Podcasts and part of the Evergreen Network. For more paranormal and true crime shows, visit killerpodcasts.com. Follow our social channels at Disturbed Podcast on Instagram or Disturbed_pod on Twitter. If you enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing and reviewing on your favorite listening platform. Share your own true horror story at disturbedpodcast.com. Music by Epidemic Sound and by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Our producer is Declan Roars. Audio engineering by Nathan Corson, Will Pritz, and Sean Rule Hoffman. Executive producer Bridget Coyne. Until next time, stay safe out there.